Welcome back to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. It's January 18th, and we'll be right back with Dan. But first, let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Sideline Interactive for their support of the Mentoring Minute and the Educational AD podcast. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year, while also creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and find out what these products can do for you. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. We also want to thank Violet Defense for their support. Go to violetdefense.com for more information. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Once again, go to violetdefense.com for more information about their terrific products. We also want to thank Huddle for their support. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, are using Huddle to elevate the performance of their athletes and their teams using video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. We've got a Huddle Focus in our gym, and it is fantastic. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play, from club and youth programs up through high schools and colleges, and even professional teams use Huddle to make their teams better. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the teams that you're trying to get your kids recruited to. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you, or how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau, CMAA from the great state of Florida. It's January 18th. Dan, what do you have for us today?
Well, good morning, Jake, and welcome all you listeners. Today, I'd like to talk about Title IX, and I know this is the Mentoring Minute, but it could be the Mentoring 4 hours because it is such a complex topic. And I want to give just an overall view in a few minutes about what it encompasses. And I don't normally read things, but the Office of Civil Rights put this together in 1972, and it's a very broad-based statement, and you'll see how all-encompassing it is. And here I go. No person in the United States shall, on this basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied of, or be subject to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. That encompasses everything. When they talk about educational programs, yes, that has to do with education in the classroom. But then they add the word activity that will include sports. And it was originally done for the college level, but as time went on, they included high school with it because we are federally financially funded. So the components to the Title IX is as follows. There are 3. Proportionality offerings, which means male to female proportions. levels of competition, and other athletic benefits, which is all encompassing. So I want to talk about the three-pronged test after the break. That is how you test your school and how you will be seen by the Office of Civil Rights. And after the three-pronged test, I want to tell you what happens if you are not in compliance. So just give us a few minutes to talk to our sponsors, and I will be right back.
Yeah, again, great topic, Dan. Most of my career was spent at the private schools where, again, we're not bound by that, federal legislation, but at the same time, in our world of educational athletics, it's the right thing to do, the equal
That's
opportunities for genders, for different levels, et cetera. So very important topic. So glad you're sharing. For listeners, hang with us. We'll be right back after a couple of quick shout outs to our sponsors. This is the Mentoring Minute on the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack for their sponsorship of the AD Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic department. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also gives you access to the players and parents who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to check the pulse of your parents or your players, you're really missing out on a great opportunity. Talk to the professionals at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. They are on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles, along with an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For more ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute. Call them at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. I promise you won't be disappointed. All right, we're back with Dan Comeau, Certified Master Athletic Administrator in the Mentoring Minute. Dan, tell our listeners about the three-prong approach for Title IX evaluation.
Love to. Well, we talked about the three components: proportionality, level of competition, and other athletic benefits. The three-prong test is basically a self-assessment of your school. Some schools do it individually. Some districts do it collectively. The district I happen to be in, every school does it, and the district puts it together and sends a collective unit to the OCR. One thing I didn't know until my last year of being an athletic director, that every school is required to have a Title IX representative. So if you don't know who your Title IX representative is, I would suggest you talk to your principal and say, hey, who do I go to with Title IX issues? And hopefully that they will have somebody that can help you. The three-prong test, again, is a self-assessment. The first one is substantial proportionality, which corresponds with the component number one. And what they're looking for is the ratio between male and female athletes at your school. If you are compliant within 5%, then you're okay. The second prong is the history of continuing practice of athletic program expansion. Are you giving those athletes, the female athletes, the same amount of opportunity to play for your school, and how do you prove that? The history of ongoing patterns of your thing, and then when they talk about history within the last 5 years, have you proportionately given your students, like the baseball, they have the baseball freshman, JV, varsity. Do the girls softball, have they had the opportunity to have freshman, JV, varsity? So that everything is proportionate to that prong. Prong 3 is effective accommodation of athletes' interests and abilities of the school's female enrollment. Do you give or do you have proof of maxed out sports offerings that you, for example, you have a boys soccer team, but you don't have a girls soccer team? Did you give the girls an opportunity? Did you do a survey and say how many girls would participate in girls soccer? You have to have proof of that survey, and surveys are allowed in that third prong, that you can prove that you offered it, there was no interest, then you're okay. The interesting thing about the 3-prong test, you only have to meet the requirement of 1 to be in compliance. So during that 3-prong test, if you're 5% male, female, you're good to go. If you're offering all the sports you need to do for girls as well as boys, you're good to go. You just need to meet 1 prong to be in compliance. Here's the bad part. If you have a dad, a parent, who complains about, let's go with this baseball, softball. Well, my baseball team has covered dugouts, softball doesn't. So a parent complains and says that there's no equity there. And the OCR feels that they need to come down and take a look. They don't look at just the baseball, softball field. They will look at your whole school, the educational component of the school, and every aspect of your athletic facility. Yeah, your softball field may not be there, but they will check your locker rooms to make sure there's equity in the locker rooms. They'll go through personnel to make sure there's equity in coaching. And it's a horrible experience. If you know anybody that's ever gone through an OCR investigation, it's long, it's lengthy, and it's very stressful. So being compliant, make sure that everything looks good for both the boys and girls. And again, it's the right thing to do, and you'll be fine. But if you do have an issue, I would make sure that you contact your Title IX representative at the school or at the district immediately to make sure that you are going to be in compliance and get ready for the investigation. So that's all I have for you today, Jake. It's a huge topic, and I can go on for hours on that topic. A lot of lawsuits and a lot of case studies, but we just don't have time for that. If any of the ADs take a LTI class, you'll have 4 hours of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those topics. It's so critical that, ADs need to be aware of it. And there's just, as you mentioned, there's a lot of workshops available on the NIAAA website that are archived. There's a entire LTI course, devoted to Title IX. And I think that one of the key words that you mentioned is this idea of proportionality. You don't have to have a 1-for-1 balance. But there's certain steps that you need to go through as an AD, and you mentioned the surveys, just so critical. If one of our listeners wants to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more on this very important topic, how can they get in touch with you?
My email address, Jake, is dcomeau19@comcast.net.
All right. Dan Comeau and the Mentoring Minute, thanks so much for sharing today. For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of these interviews are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Come back next Tuesday for another Mentoring Minute, and please listen to our regular episodes. We have interviews every Monday and Friday. We have the Mentoring Minute on Tuesday, team building tips on Thursday, and our new Wednesday features. Pretty much something for you every day of the week. So thanks for listening. Dan, all the best to you.
Thank you.
And
we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Educational AD Podcast. And before we go, we want to say thank you to Hometown Ticketing for their support. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you and your program by going to their website at hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing.